Good afternoon, everybody. We are live. Sorry, no introduction today because we have a late start. You know what to do when you get in here. And of course, that is share, share, share. We had a lot of technical difficulties a minute ago. So it was difficult to get on here. But I want to thank you for tuning in wherever you are tuning in from all around the world. This is going to be an interesting one. Um, of course, this administration never ceases to amaze me. Not that the other administration is any better. So before we get started, I'm going to do my duty, and that is share this. So you do your duty and make sure you share it. A lot of people, if they were just on my page waiting for me to go live, they don't know they have to refresh. So whenever I'm late and you see I'm not there, you have to keep refreshing your page. So we see people getting on here now. And so if you are on here, please tag Chester Cooper. Please tag Chester Cooper if you are on here. We'll appreciate you assisting us with that. And also, while you're at it, please tag Ginger Moxey. Please tag both of them and let them know they call. All right. You know how we say it in the Bahamas. Let them know they call. Let them know to get front and center so that we can address them. I have never gotten so much calls from PLPs in all my life. When I decided to put the advertisement for this live out there, I've never gotten so much calls from PLPs in all my life. They were preempting what this show is about, and they were asking me to have mercy, basically. Um, And so I just want them to know that there will be no mercy for the merciless. All right. So we are live. And so wherever you're watching this from, some of you are watching on YouTube. We're broadcasting live on Lincoln Bain, on Facebook, on Coalition of Independence and Bahamian Evolution page on Facebook. And we are also broadcasting live um, on YouTube on those same pages. We're also broadcasting on X, which is formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. Uh, no, we're not on Instagram today. We're on LinkedIn. All right. So we are everywhere, and we broadcast everywhere to make sure that the government doesn't try any skullduggery. So again, what I'm doing is I'm taking a minute to share, and so you take a minute to share. We're going to have some discussions with some persons today, and we are going to look at some documents that's going to blow your mind today. Um, so, so make sure you are sitting down for this one. All right. So, did everyone tag Chester Cooper? I hope you tagged Chester Cooper. Let me get you on here to make sure everyone is cooperating. Make sure you tag Chester Cooper. All right. And oh, you know what to do? Your at highlight and your at followers. So you do that. I can't do it until after the show. So you do your at highlight and at followers to make sure the show gets out there to everybody. I just have a couple more blasts to send this out to. I have so many thousands of numbers that I actually send a broadcast to make sure that people get their notifications, to make sure um, they're aware of what's happening. So I just got a couple more, and then we'll get started. You're doing your ad highlight and ad followers. Thank you, Patty Miller. Thank you, Sunny Noah. Thank you, T-Man. Appreciate you doing your patriotic duty to make sure that the message gets out there. I want to say a special happy birthday to Ms. Charmaine Adderley, our newly ratified candidate for the Golden Gates constituency. I want to say a special happy birthday to you. God bless you. We love you, and we wish you 1,000 more. Um, I just came out of an event we had on the park in Mount Moriah, and it was phenomenal. Thank you, Mount Moriah, for turning out. It was just for polling division number 4, but persons turned out in goodly numbers. And I had a good conversation with them. And some people asked some very good questions. Bahamians are intelligent people who want more than bear and chicken this time for election, T-shirts with $50 in it. People have some very important questions. And so I was glad that I could be there to ask their questions. But I'm here every Sunday to answer your questions. Okay. All right, I've done my duty. I hope you've done yours. And so we're going to get straight to it because we are late and because of our event in Mount Moriah. That's why I had to do the live at. Okay, everyone is coming in. I see it. Everyone is realizing that we're here. All right. So we got about 1,300 people on here. And so we're going to get going at this point. So continue to do your shares, tag some people, make sure they're in here. Ladies and gentlemen, you saw the title of this, and that is Chester Cooper and Ginger Moxey. What happened to the hotel in West End? What happened at the hotel in West End? And I got a lot of calls from PLPs everywhere. Um, and they were like, Lincoln, man, come on, please, please. There were even some calls, saying, Lincoln, don't go low, go high. Don't deal with people's personal issues. I was shocked at that from some people because by now, after seeing me for over 20 years doing this, I've never once dealt with persons' personal issues. So I was shocked that persons would even say that or even assume that. There's a serious situation in West Grand Bahama, and it does involve Chester Cooper and Ginger Moxey. And so I'm gonna get right to it. There are there is a wonderful resort where all the PLPs stayed. It's called Old Bahama Bay. So the PLPs stayed there. So Chester Cooper, you and Ginger stayed there too. And others, a lot of PLPs stayed there. In fact, some of you stayed there for over a month at that particular hotel. And it is a nice hotel, and so I can see why you would have stayed there. But there's a serious problem there. There's a serious problem at that hotel. That hotel actually is a condominium situation where there are several condominium buildings that were actually purchased by persons, and there is a management company that actually runs it, and it actually there's an agreement with the persons who own the condos to be able to allow the management companies to lease out the condos. But I'm going to let you hear from persons who bought condos there. There are persons who are not wealthy who bought condos. There's about 73 condos. And there are persons who are very wealthy who bought condos there. That's a little mini life with key going on in West End. You may not know that in Old Bahama Bay. There's one house there that's valued $20 million. And so there's a lot of wealth in the back there, a lot of wealth. And before I interview one of the persons who is an owner in the back there, is an American. I interviewed several of them. Some of them I have recording and interviews with that I'll play pieces of for you. But they are terrified at what has been happening and the corruption that they've been experiencing this here little Bahamas. Someone tag Chester Cooper and Ginger Moxey, please. They are horrified at what they have been experiencing. I'm going to let them tell their story. But these people tried everything. They went to the courts because they could get no resolve. It almost seemed to them like there was little success there, but I'll tell you details later. They feel like the lawyer let them down, and they have a right to feel that way. They went to the politicians, and some of them actually met, and this is why I asked Chester Cooper and Ginger Moxey what happened was happening at that hotel. These fellas, some of them, like I said, extremely wealthy. One of them sent, an airplane to pick me up. One of them, yeah, he went on his jet and he sent a plane to pick me up to show me what was going on down there. And I jumped on the plane and on their plane and I went to see what was happening. We landed in West End. I went and I saw what was happening, and I was also flabbergasted at what's going on in West End. But some of these guys met with Chester Cooper, Ginger Moxey, Clay Sweeting, and others. I won't call everyone name. It is Chester Cooper and Ginger Moxey. And they were made promises because they feel that they're being ripped off and because of what's happening there. And they even funded the election, the by-election. They funded Kingsley Smith. Kingsley Smith had a big wedding that we believe some of that money came from. They funded him. They paid for the PLP's election. And they felt like they were going to get some justice because of someone who is really railroading them. And after paying for that election, after the election, the politicians disappeared, left them hanging. And that's how we feel all the time. But I'm going to let you hear from these guys, and you be the judge. The reason I'm saying that this is important, and it's about Chester Cooper and Ginger Moxey, because Chester Cooper is the Minister of Tourism, and there's some skullduggery going down at that hotel, and the FBI is being called in. Yeah, international embarrassment again. The FBI is being called in. The IRS is being called in. International embarrassment again. Chester Cooper knows about it and did nothing. It's a huge cover-up. Ginger Moxey is the Minister of Grand Bahama. Huge cover-up, in my opinion. Someone says, what did they expect? They expected justice. That's what they expected. And that's what's they're going to get. One of these guys is on the line. He's a wealthy businessman. His name is George Levin, and he is going to tell us exactly what is going on there. I've spoken to several of them. George, I spoke to Jack. Another one, his name is Bob, and also Vince. And so all of these guys are investors, invested in the Bahamas, and now they are extremely disappointed. But let me let you hear exactly what's going on. Somebody tagged Chester Cooper and Ginger Moxey. Mr. George Levin, how are you doing today?
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. We were trying to get you on video so that everyone can see you, but of course we had some technical difficulties, so we're just going to do it via call, WhatsApp call.
That's okay.
And if the internet goes bad, we'll do regular call. That's fine. I'll foot the bill.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So George, you bought a condo in West Grand Bahama?
That's correct. We paid. This is many years ago. We paid $1.1 million for it. It's a 2-bedroom apartment, and it's worth practically nothing at this point.
You paid how much?
$1.1 million.
$1.1 million?
Yes, for a 2-bedroom apartment. That's
wow.
When Gin Sumer was on its way. It was well on its way. It's before he went out. So
okay.
The prices were way up.
Okay.
Here, let me give you a little history real quick of what we've been through. 3 years ago, several of us got together because we felt that things weren't going properly. We weren't getting the right information. All of a sudden, this was to be an investment.
Mm-hmm.
The investment was they would rent out the condos and we wouldn't have to pay any money and we would actually see some profits from it. Okay?
Yes.
That never happened. It did happen for a little while the Gin Sumer was still alive. But what happened here is 3 years ago, a bunch of us got together because the people who took over the management were 2 people. Let's just say it's another fellow, all right?
Sergio.
Okay.
John and Sergio.
John and Sergio. Okay, Sergio. John is the one that's trying to take over the entire property. You have a lot of people here who bought, and they were school teachers, engineers, people of normal means, mm-hmm. and they were going to retire or whatever, and they paid $300,000, $350,000 for their 1-bedrooms, and some were efficiencies. And what's happened to those people over this period of time is John has not only doesn't he have extra cash to give back to the investors, he's been charging everybody who has an apartment there a monthly fee. Some fees are very large. These people, as I said, are working people, and they can't afford it. So what happens is they ran up quite large debt to Old Bahama Bay for these fees that they're being charged. They couldn't afford to pay it. So what does John do? He steps in and says, look, I'll give you $50,000 for each one of your places. $50,000. And now I'll take care of the debt. Of course he'll take care of the debt because he's running the place, and Sergio is the treasurer, okay? By the way, the treasurer is located in the United States. They're sending all the money to the U.S., not the Bahamas. So, Sergio uses that like his own piggy bank. He goes out for dinners and all kinds of stuff, and he charges the Old Bahama Bay. I'm talking about those dinners in the United States, not in Old Bahama Bay. Both of these individuals, John and Sergio, are both convicted financial criminals in the United States. We went 3 years ago to the courts. What we asked the courts to do was to put in a...
Hold on, you just called them criminals, you know.
I know. They are. They both were convicted. There's proof here that they were both convicted. All right? Different times, different places. But they both are. Financial. Okay? And let's continue on. So we went to the Bahamian court in Freeport, and we asked for a trustee, an accountant, somebody to put in charge of the facilities while they inspected it, while they went through the books and records, which he's never produced, which he's supposed to produce. He does exactly what he wants to do. So he's bought 6 or 7 of these that we know about. He never made those available to realtors in the area. He never made those pieces available to other people that own property there. He just went and bought them for $50,000. He killed these people. And of course, what he did, I don't see the records yet, but what we feel he's done is just wipe out all the debt that he put on them. He just went, because he takes care of the books with Sergio, just take care of the books and wipe it out. You know what I mean? Not get paid. So now let's continue. So we're in the courts and we're asking just for that. 3 years ago, we just asked for somebody to come in.
Wait. Before you go to the courts, I want to make sure everyone is understanding exactly what we're saying. I don't want to go too fast for them because you know the story, they don't.
Please.
I want to start from here.
Because I've lived it, so
I know. So you know the story pretty well. I want to start from here. So you bought the condo, and there was an agreement that this management company would be able to rent out the condo for a part of the year, and you would be able to either rent out or use the apartment for part of the year. Not like timeshare. You actually own it. You have a deed, etc. But the management company would be allowed to rent it out. And as a part of this agreement, you were supposed to get a percentage. It was a profit share. And because they were going to be benefiting from renting what you own and bought, that you wouldn't have to pay certain fees and the stuff that normal people would that people would normally have to pay in gated communities, etc. And so that's correct so far.
That is correct. That's 100%. And by the way, it did work that way in the beginning.
Yes.
In the first couple of years, when Ken was there and everything was going strong, it did work that way. There was another outside company that was running the property. It's not until these guys took over that the problem started to exist.
Right. So a new guy took over recently, and his name is John McDonald. And so John McDonald took over responsibility, and that's where the problem started coming in. So since this, you have not received any money from him, and you've not received an accounting.
That's correct. Not only have I received accounting, he charges me for my unit $1,300 or $1,400 a month
What?
fees. Yes, that's what he's doing. That's how he's gaining the opportunity to buy these people out. He does these tremendous fees every month. He charges each and every unit, and the people that can't afford it, of course, they run up these bills over a 6-month or a year period. Then he steps in and buys it.
Wow.
He's trying to take over the entire property for nothing is what he's trying to do.
Yes. So
Okay. Go.
Yeah.
That's his end.
So you're supposed to be getting this, and it's like everywhere you turn, you're being blocked. It's like John has some special powers, because you're not getting what you paid for, but John McDonald is known to be close friends with the politicians. He was close with Obi, very close with Obi, and he seems to be chummy with this particular administration, and it's like you guys can't get anywhere in terms of trying to get justice. I saw a court document where you have an injunction, and then as a part of that injunction, you're not supposed to be restricted access to your condo. You're supposed to get an accounting from John McDonald and the rest of their team. And you've gotten none of this. It has not gone anywhere. And it's like you can't get it enforced. Is that correct?
That's correct. This is what I said 3 years ago. All we wanted to do at the beginning was to get another person in there, an accountant, a receiver. It didn't matter what, just so that they could take a look and see what was going on and take it away from these people. Here we are by the way, that first hearing was an emergency hearing. It was called an emergency hearing.
Yes, that's where you get the injunction.
Correct. So that's what it was called. Here we are 3 years later, and we're still waiting for the emergency hearing. All we did with the judge was go round and round and round. We spent $130,000 on legal fees, and we are nowhere where we were 3 years ago.
Wow.
We just can't get justice. It's not even justice. Just get somebody in there to see what's going on.
Right.
And if we're correct, if we're incorrect, then say we're incorrect. But get somebody in there, another third party, to look at what's going on.
Wow. And so I'm about to share a document on the screen that you guys during the court case you were doing some research, and you hired, I think it was a private eye to look up the background of John McDonald. So the whole Bahamas right now is seeing on the screen his background from RAM Investigative Group, a background check from these private investigators, licensed New York, NYS licensed private investigators. And here they pulled up quite a bit of stuff about John Thomas McDonald. So this is the same person. Mr. John Thomas McDonald he has a rap sheet, and he has and they said pertinent markers are criminal history, bankruptcy, and lien and judgment history. And so some of the things here are, let me see. We have a case here. Okay, this traffic stuff, that's not important. Everyone is looking at this while I'm talking about this. Worthless check. They said he wrote a worthless check, obtained prop services cash. He received service, but he gave a worthless check. Next, grand theft. He was charged with grand theft. All right. Cashing deposited item with intent to defraud. So we charged with fraudulent stuff. Uttering a forged instrument, so a forged document. They have the case number and everything there. Deposit with intent to defraud. Then another one that's not specified. Then he has some in bankruptcy, and everyone goes through hard times, so you can't kill him for that. But there seems to be a lot of there's a rap sheet there. There's more bankruptcies and other stuff here.
That's his whole life until he found old Bahama Bay. Now he's rich.
And then there's a probation report that I'm showing to them now that shows grand theft. This is another one. So it's not a document. So this is grand theft on a report. And so this person is now running this multi-million dollar facility in the Bahamas. He's very close with this government. But I can tell you one of the reasons you are at a disadvantage is because this particular government in power, they don't like to work with clean people. And you guys, I think you're too clean. And that may be one of the problems you're having. They have a reputation for working with other people, um, unclean people. All right. And so,
Let me ask you a question. Do you have
yeah.
anything on Sergio there? Do you have anything on his background, Sergio's?
I don't have his background report up, but I have there's some things that him and Sergio has done that I want you to see. I don't think that I've done some investigation, and I don't think you guys even know what I'm about to expose to all of the Bahamian people. So just make sure you're sitting down for this. But there's a couple of things we want to.
Sitting down.
Yeah, this is a couple of things that we want to get to before we get to that. But I'm going to show you. One, there's another problem. One, you guys, there was an agreement for you guys to get paid. There were some people who just came on board 2018, 2019, and they've never received $1, not $1, and that's a problem for them. And they've never received any accounting, anything. I spoke to Vince Sneed and Jack, and they said they don't even have access to their condos, etc. But here's the next problem. You guys are paying up to $1,200, and you're saying even more for your monthly homeowners association fees. You're paying that every month, and you're being billed every month. Is that correct?
Correct. That is correct.
Okay, and if you are paying that every month, there's where the problem comes in. There's nothing wrong with paying it, but here's where the problem comes in, my friend. That is being paid in America. Is that correct?
That is correct. The funds, all the funds he collects, when he rents stuff and stuff, he sends it all to Sergio in the United States.
Well, you guys are being billed, and I received a copy of one of of an invoice from this, and the truth is, you guys are being billed. You're being billed in America, and you're being told to make the payments to America. I'm gonna
Sure.
I'll share my screen again. I want people to see this because this doesn't look legal to me. Because if the condominiums are located here in the Bahamas, there's no way in this world that you should be paying these condos in America, and so that's a serious problem. And so I have an email here that I'm going through. I'm letting the Bahamas public see this particular invoice is for $972.09. Okay, and so this is an invoice that was sent, all right, to you. And look what it says. It says Old Bahama Bay. This is where, please also know the address for payment is. This is the address that you all must make the payment. All right, it gave the payment. It says the address for payment is Old Bahama Bay, 2479 Southeast Dixie Highway, Stuart, Florida. So
that's Sergio's office. Yeah.
Yes, right. So it's the property is located in the Bahamas. The association is located in the Bahamas, but they're telling you to pay them in America. All right, that's a problem.
That's so they could use the money.
And if you don't send the money there, then you have to, if you want to wire the money, the wire instructions is Chase Bank, and they gave the bank and routing number and information. So you pay over there. All right. Now, all of that is shady. All right. To pay the homeowners association for this Bahamian association in America. But that's just a part of the problem. Here's the bigger problem.
There shouldn't even be a charge, but that's, beside the point.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a charge, but here's the bigger problem. The bigger problem is this, my brother. Y'all are paying VAT. Bahamian VAT. Y'all are sending
Yes.
Bahamian VAT money to America. It says it here. The tax is 10%. That's the VAT. So they charge him
Yes.
$883.72. He has a one bedroom, this one. And then they charge the VAT of $88.37. And that's sent to America. Our VAT is sent to America for this Bahamian association. That doesn't sound legal. So now the question for the authorities watching this is, and all of them are watching right now, the question for the authorities is this company paying VAT? Are we getting that VAT to the Bahamas? And why are these payments going to America and staying in America? And so that's a major problem. That does not sound legal. All right. And so this is problematic for me. Just looking at this on the surface of it, you can't. Why are you sending our VAT to America? And what's happening with this? Go ahead.
They want to. They want to have the money. That's why. You're talking these two individuals. Just look at what they've done. Their backgrounds, both of them. Sergio, the same thing. He's been convicted of financial crimes. The both of them. They're just taking everything they possibly can get their hands on. They probably made a huge mistake by doing it in the United States. Because that's we can reach them here, But I'm frustrated for many reasons. I'm one of the guys because of the legal system in the Bahamas.
Wow.
And because we went 3 years and we can't get. This is an emergency hearing. I want you to keep remembering. This is an emergency hearing by the people that own the condos, trying to get somebody in there to just look over what's going on. 3 years ago, what in the United States you call an emergency hearing, within 30 days there's somebody in that property. There's somebody from the outside in the property. This is 3 years and we don't even have a conclusion yet.
Right. So I just want to look at a couple of things as I was doing my investigation. All right. And again,
please do. I'm sorry.
We need someone to tag Chester Cooper and Ginger Moxey. They were informed of all of this, and the PLP received financial backing in their election, and they promised these people that they would get them straight, and they have totally ghosted them since then. But on the screen, now, let me make sure I have it up for you. The address that they said to send this to, because I want to go through this thoroughly. We have another guest who's going to come on after you, but I want to go through this thoroughly. On the screen now, what people are seeing, I just went to Google Maps and put in the address that you saw, the 2479 Southeast Dixie Highway, and that comes up Certified Payroll Advisors. And this is a company that is actually owned by, Sergio, who is the partner financial person, the treasurer of this management company that is not doing what they're supposed to do for y'all. So on the screen right now, I'm going to pull up the companies. So I did a search on Sergio. I didn't find any records, criminal records on Sergio, so maybe it's the other guy that was involved in it. But right now on the screen, I'm going through.
There are records on Sergio. We'll get you a copy. Okay.
Perfect. So Grand Harbor. So what they did was they formed a company in America that sounds similar to Old Bahama Bay. They call it Grand Harbor Old Bahama Bay. So I need everyone to stick with me because I'm going to show you a pattern that is forming. All right. Grand Harbor Old Bahama Bay Resort. And that's a company. So I want to pull up to show you. And they also have Island Venture Resort and Club is another company, but it has two names. These are American companies now. So the primary name is Old Bahama Bay Resort and Yacht Harbor, LLC. But the alternative company name is IVRC, which is the management company for you guys, but that's IVRC in the Bahamas. So they formed parallel companies in the U.S. All right.
Correct.
So
Yep.
they fought this. So these U.S. companies seems to be shell companies. That's how it seems, for a purpose to be able to send money in the U.S. and legitimately keep it there. And so these are the companies that they formed. But now everyone is looking at the owners and controllers of these companies. So that's what I'm pulling up. So now on the screen, you can see here, business contact, John McDonald, business contact, Sergio Nativi. And so these are the people, and you can see that they put their address as the same, Sergio's office. And so they are business partners. So they formed a company in the US. And so it's a company with a similar name as what you guys have in the Bahamas, and they form a similar company in the US. All right. And so here's where one of the problem comes in. So what I did was I went around and I searched all over the US to try to see different company names that these guys might have registered. And I started to see a pattern. You started to see that these guys are working together. So what is this here? So this is Grand Harbor at Old Bahama Bay Resort Limited, right? But now we're seeing three names: Natavi Sergio, John McDonald, and a new name popped up, Shane Coakley. I'll get to that soon. And all of their reports are right there. Shane Coakley. Shane Coakley is new to the picture because they weren't reporting him as a part of the company prior to this. All right. First, you would see Sergio and John. And now lately, you now see that Sergio was added this year. But it looks like they added Sergio this year in March. All right. They added him this year in March because as you can see, March 2024, this is John McDonald here. But also they formed the company and they added, I'm showing documents while I'm talking, so you might hear me like I'm not flowing. Here also in March, they added Coakley. Now, Coakley is partnering with these guys to do a development. And he actually stated that he now controls Old Bahama Bay in a document that they've released. He stated that they now control Old Bahama Bay. So he is stating publicly that they control what you guys own. So I don't know if you are aware that Coakley is now promoting to the public that he controls Old Bahama Bay. Are you and the other owners aware of that?
First I'm hearing of it right now.
Oh my God.
No, I had no idea.
So let me see if I can pull up the document for you. Yeah, he is literally stating that he's in control of Old Bahama Bay, and there's a video that he's put out with him and some other guy, two other guys. So they have apparently saying that they've taken you over, and so maybe that's an anticipation of
getting everybody out.
Everybody out, annoying you guys until you don't want to be there anymore. Okay, yeah, I have the document up. Let me just pull it up for everybody. Just give me one sec. So this skullduggery is going on right here in the Bahamas, right before our eyes. So here's the document. Everyone is looking at it. I know you can't see it because we're on the phone.
Right.
But they're doing something called Bristol Point Grand Bahama. All right. And they're showing Old Bahama Bay and the Gin area. And so basically what they're saying is that uh, they're developing 22 acres. 21 acres of it is from the Gin property, and 100 acres of it is from Old Bahama Bay, is what they're saying. All right, we're gonna release this document, but I went and they got the Prime Minister's picture in it, so everyone can see that. Uh, um, and you guys own this property, and you know nothing about this.
We
um,
know nothing for years. We know nothing. We don't get any information. Nothing.
and so
And the Bahama courts have been helping it all. Nothing.
I'm going to page 14 on this document, which is the introduction. And it says Bristol Point is a 2,200 plus acre master plan mixed use resort community. 21 acres is the former Gaines Swimmer development, Bobby Gaines' failed dream. They had to insult him. And 100 plus acres is Old Bahama Bay, now under the control of Coakley International. Wow.
I got news for you. That's wrong, because the 21 acres is Old Bahama Bay. Gin is the 100 acres.
Wow. But he is saying that they are now controlling Old Bahama Bay. And I'm showing everyone it here in writing. When you go back to watch this later, you'll be able to see it.
Okay, his company was just got a judgment against him for a big number. I forget where it was, in Atlanta, on one of his developments.
Yeah.
It's very easy to find. I saw it in the newspaper about 10 days ago. He was just in court.
And so you guys are actually the owners, and you've not heard about this. You don't know about this. How in the world?
How could they be the owners? We own the property. We have deeds, all of us. How could they be the owners?
And so I just want to. I'm going to pull up one of your deeds. Let me see if I can.
You know how they say birds of a feather flock together?
Yeah.
That's what you've got. He's the same as they are.
Wow. And so let me just pull up to show everyone that you guys. Oh, it's already. Oh, sorry, I was sharing. Let me go back to show. I just want to show everyone that you guys do have deeds to your property, and that this whole thing is beyond strange.
It's a fraud.
And so here's one of your deeds. This is Vince's deeds to the property. All right. So you have actual deeds. You own the property, and so there's no reason that they should be interfering with you. And if you made a deal to allow them to rent it out, to manage it, to rent it out for you, that there's no reason that they should be holding on your money, and they should not. They should at least give you an accounting, which is not being done.
And this money being in the United States is very discouraging. Very, very, and it's all under the same names, only in the United States, and so they can keep the money here and use it. They're using that money. I know for a fact that Sergio goes out to these dinners and everything else and pays for it with Old Bahama Bay money.
Wow. Wow.
I know that he's used for expenses.
All right. So, and I can tell you that I'm seeing where they've formed these companies in the U.S. You've shown evidence of where the money for this Bahamian association is being sent to America, and it seems very fraudulent in nature. And so you also see where they are now announcing that they own, they now control Old Bahama Bay. So we need to know what that means. And you guys need to know what that means. And you guys, I think based on all that I'm hearing, you guys may not just have a civil case, but if they were doing anything criminal, you should report this to the FBI. I'm told a report has already been made to the FBI with reference to this, and also to the IRS.
Correct. Yes, it has. Yeah.
Yes, and so for any politicians, for any local Bahamians that are getting involved with this, I'm going to advise you now to cover yourself and to not be a part of what's happening. If there's any skullduggery being done, you gotta protect yourself. I'm saying that to my Bahamian people who might be involved in this,
Yes.
and the PLP politicians who may be involved in this. This is now an FBI matter, and so you guys have every right to really take this to the highest extent of the law, because this is shocking, and the fact that that the politicians made promises to you guys before the election, and it seems like they are taking part. Um, that's how it feels.
Let me say this to you. There was a wedding recently that we found out.
Mm-hmm.
It was done, and rooms were gratis. It was one of the officials. I'm not sure who it was or whatever. The 20 rooms of the apartments, I was told.
Can you say that again? You weren't coming too clearly.
The
there was a wedding. Kingsley Smith, the MP for that for West Grand Bahama, had a wedding. What are you saying happened with your room?
They were free. They were given to him by John McDonald.
Wow. So, so
that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what's happened. That he buys everybody off.
Wow.
One way or another, everyone over there. And as I said, the courts too. 3 years and we have an emergency hearing. Just think about that. Emergency 3 years ago, and we're still waiting for a result.
Yeah,
that's some emergency. I think the patient died while it was on the table.
Wow. And I spoke to Vince Sneed. I have a recorded interviews with him and Jack, but because we're talking, I don't have to go to playing them. I spoke to him and he said that he reached out to the media and no one in the media would touch this. It's almost like you're trying to touch the mafia.
Yes, it's exactly correct.
How does it make you feel going to the media in the Bahamas and the media not wanting to touch it?
I'll tell you, it makes me feel exactly like I feel. I don't want to invest anything in. I own 2 lots there also in Bahama Bay.
You own 2 of them?
On the corner. Yeah, I own 2 lots. I was going to build a home. You think I'm going to build a home there now? I put them both up for sale. And it's hurting the people in West End because they can't get to work. They can't do anything. If a house is being built, there's laborers that are needed. There's people that are needed. They're killing this place. Absolutely killing it.
Wow. I have someone I want to join in on our conversation. So you stay there with me. And I want, there's a Bahamian entrepreneur in West Grand Bahama who I guess he sees everything that you guys are going through. He sees everything. I have pictures I'm going to show of how they're allowing it seems like what they're doing is allowing your condos to run down so that persons want to move out, that they don't want anything to do with it anymore, so they can buy it up and control it.
That's exactly what they're doing. I don't know how many they own already.
Wow.
We know of 6, 7 that they bought from these people because they forced them out.
Wow.
And as I said, they never tried to sell them in the open market. They never offered it to the other owners so they could get the people something more than $50,000. Just think about that. These people paid $300,000 for those things.
Wow. So I wanna tell you, I spoke to the other side. I spoke to Culma, who's the general manager who really works for John McDonald. You know who Culma is?
Right. Yes.
And so I spoke to him today to get his side of the story, because I never, touch an issue unless I investigate it properly.
Right.
And so,
yes.
Today I spoke to Mr. Culma to hear his side of the story. His name is James Culma. And to be honest with you, he started to tell me some stories at first. I'll get right to you. Yes, I'm coming right to you. I just want to get his last thing out. Mr. Culma, he started to tell me that you guys agreed to not in 2012 when Ginn was going away, you agreed to not getting any dividends. That all of you homeowners agreed to that. Is that true?
That's a total lie.
And I also told him that it's not true because I was looking at documents right there and then that showed that you were entitled to dividends. Even in 2014, it actually, I have the actual financials that I was able to dig up. And I don't think he thought that I would have access to be able to get those financials, but this is what we do. And so,
okay, great.
and so I got the financials from 2014. I'm going to put it on the screen for everyone to see. So they said that in 2012, you guys agreed to not get paid any dividends, um, which I don't think any sensible human would do.
Of course not.
And so I have it on the screen now. This is the year to date for up to February 2014. So this is January and February alone. All right, January and February alone. So it shows that off of, and I think there were less condos at the time. So there's more now. I think it was 25 condos at the time. Now there's 73.
Right.
And so this in 2014, and that part is a guess. But in 2014, it's just January and February. From the rooms, they made $430,849. From the marina, they made $261,000. From the gift shop, $8,000. From other departments, $16,000. So they made a total of $717,000 just for 2 months. And they said that this was a slow period and things were starting to pick up. And meaning that this year they were, looking to pick up from there. But that's just 2 months. They made $717,000. All right. And one of the expenses that it has in the expenses section, I'll make that big, is condo dividend. And so it says right here, the condo dividend you guys are supposed to get is $135,685 just for that 2 months. All right. So you were supposed to get a dividend, and back then you were getting dividends, and that is until John McDonald came on board.
That's correct. That was a different management company. That was a professional management company.
Yes. And so I have they have
it all now.
Yeah.
He and Sergio get it all.
Wow. And so you have to let the FBI deal with that. And if any PLP politicians get in the way, you make sure that justice is served.
We've been trying to get justice, but now it's brought itself to our shore, and believe me, we'll take care of it here.
Yeah.
Now all this is coming out. We will definitely use it and turn it over to the authorities.
And so here in a letter that came when this person in 2019 bought their condo, it says dividend payment must be authorized by the board based on the company having adequate cash reserves, et cetera, et cetera. But it says unit owners must be current in their payment of association maintenance fees. So that's not a problem. Any dividends authorized by the board will be paid as follows. Studios with 1 bedroom, 1 share, 2 bedroom units, 1.25 shares. All right. And so it'll be adjusted based on the usage, like whether they use yours more or less. So there was an arrangement that was made between you. All right. You guys are allowed to also rent out your rooms. All right. So you let them, not allowed because you own it. You let them rent it out for a period of time. All right. And then you can rent it out to whoever you want, and they will manage it for you, even though you rented it out. And you can come and just stay there whenever you want. All right. And they assess cleaning fees and all that. So this is the document I'm showing here. And for some reason, these guys are railroading you.
Yeah, never happened.
All right. So it says that you let them rent it out for 40 weeks out of each calendar year, with 50% of the weeks being available for rent between the period May 1st and December 14th, and 50% of the weeks being between December 15th and April 30th. All right. And so outside of that, you do whatever. But you also have a right to rent it privately. They said they don't want you to advertise it. They said unit owners may rent unit privately, but may not advertise any rates publicly. All right. So they just don't want you to put it on Airbnb because they don't want a different price confusion, is what they said. All right.
Yes.
Right. And so it's your unit. But the problem is, you guys are saying you have zero access to this, to your units. I want to bring
Not
someone.
me, not myself. I have not had a problem in using it.
Okay.
I take my boat over and I tell them when I'm coming, and I haven't had a problem at all.
Okay.
I have in using my apartment.
Okay. The other 4 guys I've spoken to said that they've had serious problems being able to access it. I want to bring someone else on this conversation. Mr. Keith Cooper is a Bahamian entrepreneur in the West Grand Bahama area. Mr. Keith Cooper, I'm sure you've been listening. Good night, by the way.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. And so, what do you think of what you heard?
Well, I have such mixed emotions right now that I can't even decide where to begin my thoughts. But first, I want everyone who is listening in to understand who I am and what I represent.
Yes, please.
My family has lived in West End for over 200 years. I grew up in Florida, educated in Florida, served in the United States military, worked in the hospitality and hotel industry in Florida, came back home in 2004 to assume the position of Director of Resort Sales at Old Bahama Bay. I lived on the property for 3 years. They treated me well. That was under a different management group that was a professional group, and that's who hired me. This was when Sash Spencer was the owner, who was alive at the time, and actually was a hands-on investor. And met Sash is a wonderful human being. Subsequently, the Ginn property, the Ginn people came in. My position was made redundant, and I was let go. After 3 solid years of building a platform and a base to bring visitors to Grand Bahama and to West End particularly, working within the luxury travel segment. That was why I was there. It appeared that my knowledge and my skills were no longer needed after 3 years when the Bobby Ginn and his group decided to come in and take some of us out. I said, okay, fine. After that, I had to regroup, get my life in order. I am a Bahamian citizen, born in Nassau, grew up in the Palm Beach County area, and I studied and perfected my craft so that I could return home one day to make a positive contribution to my community of West End. Since then, I have done some great things in this community in terms of working with the youth, working with the sailing program, working with the Royal Bahamas Police. And then I started my own entrepreneurial company called West End Ecology Tours, where I now bring people in to experience our marine life. Since then, I've done pretty well by myself. Old Bahama Bay and its team of people make promises to people in the community. And that's really what my concern is about, the community right now. Some of it's been one ear out the other. Just misinformation. I just can't understand how we got here, because I came home with the impression that we were going to make West End one of the top destinations, not just in the Bahamas, but for Grand Bahama and for the West and the people of West End. I have yet to see anything in 20 years. 2004, I arrived. This is now 2024, and there is absolutely nothing that the people of Old Bahama Bay, including the management people that are there now, has done to improve the quality of life for the citizens and the constituents of West End. If I did not have the education and the background and experience to work for myself, I would have left here. But I said no. Despite all the things that I know that's up in my head right now, that I can't even divulge, all the things that I want to say that I just not going to say because it's going to anger so many people. But I will admit that the government that's in power now, they have been good to me because they have helped my company to grow because of what I'm doing that's so unique. And I'm blessed by that. So I don't want to say anything negative from the Ministry of Tourism perspective, because they have been good to me. And I will acknowledge that till the day I die. But for the rest of the people, well, that's a different story. And I think that because of what you're doing now, Lincoln, and what George has said, and others who are homeowners at Old Bahama Bay, and many of the names that you mentioned, the people, I know them personally. They're friends. They like what I've done in the community to try to bring West End around. And I just can't understand why we're letting this continue to go on. I feel so bad for the owners, the condominium owners, that they can't get their value from their investment. It's a shame. And it's a shame that such criminal activity has been going on underneath our noses. And the poor people of West End are suffering because we can't get any commitments, any partnerships. They can't do anything to help this economic vitality they can't do anything. And they haven't done anything. And they're not going to do anything. So in my humble opinion, why are they there? Why should they remain there? We need to find another way to turn West End around. This could be a major income-producing community for the government, for our taxes, for economic opportunities, for jobs, for training. They haven't done anything to train our people, to provide creative ways in which to enhance our quality of life, or to give us, who are talented people. And there's a lot of talented people in this community, but they refuse to use them in a positive way. So I had to take it upon myself to do it for me. As many people as I wanted to bring along with me, they didn't want to come. But I said, okay, fine, you stay over there. I'm doing all right. And if it wasn't because for some of the homeowners at Old Bahama Bay that I know personally, I would not be able to succeed without some of those homeowners. And I am grateful for them, grateful that they saw something in me that other people did not see. And so, yes, I am upset after what I've heard.
So have some of those homeowners been helpful to you?
Yes, man. Can I tell you, I can't even go down the list of things that they have done to help me, because they see I have an entrepreneurial spirit. They see that I'm trying to do something good in the community. I'm trying to do something positive for the image of West End. I'm trying to create something that's harmonious, that fits into our profile as a country, the things that we're known for, which is our oceans, our waters, our fishing, our marine life, and all the other things that people come to the Bahamas to see and experience. So I took advantage of all of that, and I created a business that would harmonize all of that and do something good for this community. And believe you me, when I bring people into this town, most don't stay at Old Bahama Bay, even though I have Old Bahama Bay's name mentioned on my website, so people will know where my business is. And if it wasn't for one of the homeowners there, I wouldn't even have a place to keep my boat.
Wow.
This is how sensitive this is to me right now. This is very disturbing. And this situation has got to change. And it's got to change real quick. Because if this community is going to survive, you got to get the criminals out of the operation of Old Bahama Bay. You got to move them out.
You feel that is being operated like a mafia thing?
But from what I see and from what I know personally, from hearing from the homeowners, yes. This is a shame. We should all hold our head in shame that we have to live like this, and that this country has to go on like this, and that people can get away with murder. Literal, you killing the people is what you're doing. You sure as hell ain't helping us. They ain't helped me. So what do you think they did for the community? They ain't do nothing for this community. They haven't cleaned up nothing. They haven't supported nothing. They haven't done anything except maybe throw a couple of dollars at you and say, hey, let's call it a day. But I'm talking about the community, man, not a couple of people.
Let me ask you, as a citizen of that community, a resident of that community and doing business there, if you were the country's leader, if you were a leader in this country, And you heard of this situation where these companies are being formed in the US, Bahamian money is being sent over to the US, VAT is being collected over in the US, and the situation that these homeowners are going through. What would you do as a leader of this nation?
Well, besides taking drastic steps, the prime minister would have to send someone over here to do their due diligence, do their own investigative work, to take some of these things that have been said tonight seriously, to look at them firsthand so that he can build a solid case. Once they accumulate all their facts, then make some tough decisions, because you just really don't want to come in and shut the place down, because people are working out there. They need jobs. These people need their jobs. We can't just kill it because of these things, but we can control it better and we can manage it better. And that's what I'm asking for. Come in and let's manage this right. Let's get these people out of the way that's causing these issues. Let's put in another company, a third party that has no interest in the resort, and let them come in and figure out what's going on behalf of the government. And then once they ascertain what's going on, then they can make some intelligent decisions as to what the next move ought to be. But
Well,
that's
I'll tell you what has happened. The Minister of Grand Bahama, Ginger Moxey, was informed of this. These guys have met with her. They've met with Chester Cooper, the Minister of Tourism. Nothing has been done. And not only have they met with them and other ministers, including the Minister of Works, but I'm showing a document on the screen right now, which is a letter that was sent to the Honorable Philip Brave Davis. All right. Yeah. And so also Philip Brave Davis received a letter. And I'm going to read this letter because I want people to know the information the Prime Minister got about this possible skullduggery that's going on in West Grand Bahama. And so, George, I don't know if you've ever seen this letter, but I'm going to read it to the Bahamian pub. George, have you seen this letter to Brave Davis?
I do not think I have.
Okay. Well, this was written by one of your fellow homeowners.
You're talking about.
Yeah. Yes. And so it said, Bahama Bay plea for assistance from the government of the Bahamas from embezzlement and oppression of the village of West Grand Bahama. Wow, that's strong words. Dear PM, my name is Vince Sneed. I a resident and friend of West Grand Bahama since 1990. I and my partners come to you as a last resort, seeking assistance for the homeowners of Old Bahama Bay and the residents of the village of West End. Approximately 3 years ago, I, along with 15 other property owners, investors, filed a court action with the Northern District seeking an emergency injunction since John McDonald came onto the scene as president of IVRC. He's failed to comply with any laws or regulations dealing with the Condominiums Act of the Bahamas. No financials, no AGM, no budget. All the while, he collects nearly $100,000 a month from us in the U.S., along with VAT. So the Minister of Finance has been told that. He then rents our rooms for profit whilst devaluing the units and buying as many as possible to gain majority control of the property. Unfortunately, after 3 years of litigation and $150,000 in legal fees, our judge has ruled that neither of the attorneys filed proper applications and ruled that we basically needed to start over. We plead with you and the courts to step in and investigate this abuse of power and failure to comply with IBC and BIA laws. In addition to holding us hostage, McDonald has partnered up with Ricardo Pratt and successfully scared off multiple investors since he came on the scene in 2016. We, the homeowners of Old Bahama Bay, along with the residents of West End, wish to have an administrator appointed immediately and assume management of our properties so we can bring West Grand Bahama to its glory days. I have investors and a management team ready to execute the transition at any time. We thank you for your attention in this matter.
Well, that's basically what I said in a nutshell. That's kind of how I think they should pursue this, and without hurting our people. And for the person who said so kindly that I sound like I supported PLP, I support the right thing. I support good things. And if they're going to do the right thing for this community, regardless of what's going on behind the scene, that has nothing to do with me. I'm just telling the person, whoever said that, who wrote the message online, hey, I like the FNM and the PLP or the CDI. I don't care who's in charge. As long as you're doing the right thing for the people and you're giving them some support, then yeah, you'll like them for that moment. Doesn't mean you're going to like them forever. I didn't always like the PLP, okay? And I sure as hell didn't like the FNM. So what the hell? I'm not political here. I'm just telling the facts of how they come out of my mouth, and how you interpret them is your own vision of it, but it's not mine. So I don't share your view. And I'm letting you know that point blank. If they do right by me, okay, fine. They may not be perfect in other areas, but that got nothing to do with me. I'm a businessman. I'm trying to make a living. So if they support me, great. If the FNM supported me, great. But they ain't never support me, so I ain't worried about them. But I'm just saying, that's how it is.
Yeah.
That's
So you don't have to respond to commenters online. People are going to say their people are going to make their comments. All right. And so the present administration has promoted his business, and so he wants to make sure he's giving them their props or their thanks for promoting his business.
right.
Overall, I think they've been an abject failure. But in terms of promoting his business, they have helped him by doing that, and so that's what he is saying in reference to that.
And what I'm also saying too,
The director of tourism has come, and they have gone out on the tour with him, and so that's what he is saying. But I don't want to get distracted with
that's right,
with all
exactly.
that,
And neither do I, because I want to be honest. I want to be honest.
Yeah, I want to make sure that we deal with the matter at hand, which is the situation with these condos and what these people are experiencing. I want to take a minute and let persons hear a little bit from two other homeowners that I interviewed. I had interviewed them beforehand. This is Jack. Jack is telling of his experience of coming to the Bahamas and what he experienced. I'm going to let you hear also a little bit from Vince Sneeds. You can see that these are real people who want change and who are very disappointed in this present administration for how they're dealing with this matter. We are live, and so you chose to buy 2 condominiums in the Bahamas. And why exactly did you choose to buy 2 condominiums in the Bahamas?
Well, my son and I used to fly all over the Bahamas. We've been to about 24 islands. I think about 30 or 40 would fly in just to visit. We've been around the Bahamas. We loved it. And I just found Old Bahama Bay because I was looking actually in Hawaii to buy a condo near the water, on the water. And then I came to my senses and said, Hawaii is 10,000 miles away. The Bahamas is right around the corner. I'm going to go 100 miles away. And we found Old Bahama Bay. I loved it. I bought 2 units there and thought that I can go there with friends, with family, and enjoy for the rest of my life. Beachfront, nice, Bahamas, get my crack hunk forever and ever. And I did that once. We got there in 2018 with friends, and we had a wonderful time. And then I found out what was really going on in the Bahamas with John McDonald running the condominium association. He was the president. He had a sham board that never participated. He had people he would put on the board without their knowledge to fill places. I ran as a board member, and I lost because he had all the slots filled with people, and they didn't even know they were running. And they got votes. And and I found this out during the one election we had. It was an online election during COVID. And so there's no real accountability, is the word, from John McDonald. We don't get reports.
I am talking to Vince Sneed. I hope I pronounce it right. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's perfect, buddy. That's perfect.
All right.
It's usually Vince in the Bahamas, but that's okay.
Okay. So we're talking to the Vince. Vince has been coming to the Bahamas for a very, very long time, since the 90s it is?
Yeah, it was actually late 80s, early 90s when we first came to West End. I think it was 2018, 2019, I think is when I bought the property.
So when you bought the property, there was an understanding, there were some conditions that the property you would have use of it for a certain period of time, and the homeowners association or IV, a management company, would have use of it so that they can rent it out to whoever wanted to rent it out. Is that the agreement?
That was we did receive an estoppel letter that from IVRC. You were correct in that matter, that we would have, I don't remember the exact details, but we would have use of it as we have a deeded property and we own the property. But they would also have use of it to utilize it for a rental pool as well.
Okay, so they can rent your property. That actually sounds good. That sounds like a business opportunity. I would love to be involved with something like that, because you get to use it when you want to use it, and then when you're not using it, they rent it out for you. And so if they're renting it out, that means that you should split profits, right?
That's the way we were. That's the way it was presented to us. I'll put it that way.
Okay, and so you should have made a lot of profit from that since you were there from 2019 or so.
Should have.
But have you?
Unfortunately, we haven't received a dime, and we haven't received financials. We haven't received occupancy reports.
Hold on, wait. Before you go on, you said you have not received one dime.
Not one dime.
So it's your property. You have the deeds. They're allowed to rent it out, but you've not gotten a dime since 2018, 2019?
Not a dime, and we're harassed to pay the HOA fee of $1,000 plus a month. And there's 72 owners there, so it's 72 units there at $1,000 a month. So wow. It's a significant amount of money they're collecting. But no, we have not received a dividend since IVRC was taken over by John McDonald.
So you're just getting the accounting, but they're not paying you?
No, we're not getting the accounting, sir, either. We're not getting anything.
No,
we're not getting anything. It's insane how this business has been run. Well, I don't want to say business. You can figure it out for yourself what's happening.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right at all. So you have the deeds to the property. You allow them to rent it out. And they're not accounting to you. They're not giving you any funds, nothing from this. Have you been able to access it properly when you want to stay there, at least?
Nothing whatsoever with regard to any accounting, any documentations, no annual meetings, no budgets, no occupancy reports. The property's falling into disrepair because the money's not being put back into the units.
I'm gonna pull up a document for everyone to see, and you can tell me a little bit about this, because I think this would be concerning to a lot of people. Just gonna skip over that because we already addressed. I don't care about politics. I fight, for what is right.
Any of that.
Good. So So his political affiliations make you feel like that's what's blocking the whole situation where you guys appear to be being robbed.
This would see.
Wow. I want to look at one more document. Always be politics. You can't get any justice. Is that how you feel?
That's exactly the way the picture's been painted. We made every effort following the legal system and the recommendations of the attorneys and recommendations of the attorney general. We met with politicians during election time last year. We even supported and made donations to the election time, thinking that if the light was brought to the corruption that's going on at Old Bahama Bay, not only just the corruption at Old Bahama Bay, but there's been significant oppression on the whole village itself, because anytime an investor comes in that John McDonald's not partnered with or not involved with, there's a threat for him to be exposed with exactly what's going on down here right now. And he's run off Skyline. He's run off multiple investors that have shown up to help develop the Ginn property and help invest in Old Bahama Bay. And if he's not going to be a part of the picture, then he's going to do his best to get rid of whoever's coming in there.
Wow, hold on. I don't want you to breeze over something. I just heard you say something that during the last election, that's the by-election in West Grand Bahama, you met with some politicians.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
All right. And you told them about all of this.
Yep.
Who did you meet with?
I don't feel comfortable calling names, but
okay.
But you can imagine there was quite a few there it was election day, actually. I'll put it that way.
Were they senior politicians?
Yes.
Members of parliament.
Ministers and senior, junior people. Yeah.
Wow.
They basically gave us the we told them what was going on. They basically told us.
Well, you don't know this, but I know from other sources who you met with, and I can tell you who you met with. You don't have to confirm or deny, but you met with Chester Cooper. You met with Ginger Moxey. You met with Clay Sweeting and others. All right. And so Chester Cooper is the deputy prime minister, and he's the minister of tourism. And this is a hotel that we're talking about. All right. And so that's my sources from elsewhere telling me that. And so that concerns me that this is going on in the hotel industry, and he's the minister of tourism, and got this information. And with this information, nothing has happened. No inquiries, no nothing. And this is just being allowed to go on. And so you donated to the by-election. And of course, Kingsley was running against me. And so you guys helped Kingsley to run against me. All right.
I didn't realize that.
Because you wanted to expose corruption. Apology accepted, man. No, when I fight for people, I don't care who they voted for. I don't care about politics. I fight, for what is right. All right. And that's what I do. So it doesn't matter. Any of that stuff doesn't matter.
Well,
but
in addition to being personally invested into the property and what's going on down there, our ultimate goal is for the betterment of the village.
Yeah.
And we're not going to stop until we figure out the way to help out and way to make things right down there, because the village has been oppressed. The people could be blessed with so much more. We have plans to bring it back to its heyday when I was there. When I first came, it was good times down there and happy times.
You guys are some big investors. I know one of the houses there now is one house that in that area is worth $20 million. Is on the market for $20 million. And so when you put all of you guys together, that's a lot of wealth in one area of the Bahamas and Grand Bahama. And basically you guys are being screwed over, and you're now experiencing the corruption in the Bahamas firsthand. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Every morning I wake up ready to throw the towel in, but I read some scripture and it says, don't give up. So, The good Lord's keeping me there for a fight for some reason.
Maybe you guys should fund another party to get rid of the corruption.
You know what? That's very well an option. So
Yeah.
we,
Yeah, definitely.
we need change.
Change is here. Definitely.
I like that.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Lincoln, for helping out for everything you can, and you're gonna have our support as well.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate that.
All right. Yeah.
In terms of the media, has the media been helpful to you guys?
We tried to keep everything on the download during the trial, but when the litigation, but when the litigation started being non-productive, I went to a couple of different media outlets trying to get the story published and explain and showed them the documents from the courts and whatnot where we'd won the injunction, and nobody wanted to take it. We wanted to take the story.
Wow.
It seems like managing Old Bahama Bay has pretty much been shielded and bulletproof. So,
my God, you feel about the Bahamas?
What's that?
How does that
I
make?
know Vince. Vince, a good guy.
Wow.
He's helped his community in more ways than you can imagine. So
Yes.
there's his behind him. He's an honest man. He's a serious businessman. And I stand with everything Vince said. Every single word. I
Wow.
stand with him. Because that's how
Wow.
important he is.
George, do you agree with the words of Vince just now?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Remember, you're just talking to us. We have a lot of friends. We have a lot of people that we socialize with.
Yeah.
And when our thing is, don't go near the Bahamas. Don't spend any money in the Bahamas.
Wow.
Don't do it. You want to go visit, it's okay. But don't invest in the Bahamas. Look at the situation we're involved in. What do you think we're going to say to them?
Wow. I am so sorry that you have to be going through this.
It goes a lot further than just the people you're talking to. It's our friends, it's the people we socialize with, and everything else. They all know what's going on. They don't go near it.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna continue to fight for change. I know you are invested in the Bahamas, and we want a Bahamas where our foreign investors are not shaken down by politicians. Where foreign vendors and contractors aren't shaken down by politicians, and that we end corruption. We want a country that just works. And if I go to Miami today and I want to open a business, I don't have to pay off anybody. I don't have to see a politician. I can open a business next week in Miami and I don't have to see any politicians,
That's correct.
Yeah. And that is what we want to change the Bahamas to be. We're tired of politicians having the control of everything, and we are going to bring that change. Island states and city government is what we're promoting, and that's the only way we're going to have the change.
Yeah.
And I want to say to persons watching this, that a lot of our foreign investors, residents from other countries who live here, if it wasn't for some of them, Grand Bahama and Abaco might not have come back together so quickly because, the government did nothing to help those people, and it was foreigners who pitched in to help rebuild those islands. It's disgraceful how our own government did nothing for us in terms of Dorian, and foreign investors who love this country had to come in and say, no, we want to see the Bahamas of old, and we want to see the Bahamas restored. And they have friends, Bahamians, that they've grown to love over the years that they wanted to help out. And so we want a Bahamas where it's for Bahamians first, and that we can share it with those who will come here and appreciate and love this country. How do you feel about that, Keith?
I'm with you 100% because that's exactly how I envision my participation in this country. But to reiterate what Vince had said, we have been oppressed, suppressed, and depressed far too long. It's got to end. This is over now, okay? And I'm just sick and tired of it, because to see how our people are still having to go through such jumping around, doing, it's craziness. I've never seen anything like this. This is why I stay to myself, because I cannot deal with ignorance. I cannot deal with stupidity. I cannot deal with people who can't see they can't see the ocean for the water, much like you can't see the forest for the damn trees. And here we are living in this island country with the most natural beauty of any country in the world, and we the people can't get ahead, and we got to go through all kinds of red tape just to kind of make a living.
George,
George,
I want to say this to you, that I'm going to fight with you guys. We are going to uncover everything that is going on in Old Bahama Bay. We're going to flip over every rock and look under every rock and in every nook and cranny, and we're going to find out what is going on. There's more that I didn't put out there. I have piles and piles of documents about what's actually happening there, but this is just a shot over the bow. I spoke to management there, and at first they said that you guys agreed to this. I told them I'm looking at the documents, and that's not true. And I spoke to Mr. James Culmer, and he said that he's not been asked for any accounting by John and them for some time. And he's responsible for doing the finance. He's the general manager and the financial controller. And he said that they haven't asked him for any financials for a long time, but to cover himself, he's now going to do the financials up to date up to August. Because I told him, I said, listen, the FBI is going to get involved, my Bahamian brother. And so he began to, I guess, kind of throw John under the bus and say that John doesn't ask for the accounting for this period of time. But he did tell me, go ahead.
They're not asking because they're keeping the money. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care about an accounting. That's not their play. They just take the money. But I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, no problem. He made it clear to me that they help people in the West Grand Bahama community. And he said to me that if you guys take over Old Bahama Bay, that Black Bahamians would lose their job. He started to use the race card. He said that they would start to lose their jobs, or the entrepreneurs there, like the persons in the restaurant or on the beach, etc., is going to lose their job. I don't think that's your intention, right?
Let me say this to you. That's so far from the truth that it doesn't even deserve an answer. Because the people they're hiring right now, I remember when the place used to really have a lot of people there, a lot of locals being employed. Right now, I'll bet you, if I had to take it on my hand, there isn't 5 employees in that whole place. There isn't. There is somebody at the counter when you check in. There's somebody at the beach, and there's somebody, of course, in the restaurant. He's there. He opens and closes it as people need it. All right, for the boating people. And I can't think of anybody else that's there.
Wow.
There might be a maintenance man or two, but there's not more than 5 employees in the whole place. So what is he talking about?
Wow.
He's right.
There used to be 10, 15,
That's
20
true,
people.
Keith?
He's right. Everything is outsourced there. Okay. The housekeeping's outsourced. The restaurant on the beach is outsourced. The restaurant on the marina is outsourced. So what George is saying is true. And this is why I think things are the way they are, because they don't want the responsibility, or at least, John McDonald and his team doesn't want the responsibility of managing and running in the resort the way it should be. They'd rather throw it into somebody else's hands, and whatever they're paying, God only knows what that is. It's the reason why I'm a hotelier. My background is a hotel business. I worked in it for 40 something years. I've got to tell you, I know how to run a hotel, but to see how this place has been going down, 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 and nothing is coming in, and there's no marketing, there's no sales and marketing, there's no marketing team, that property should be filled 90% occupancy year round. And that is not a joke, because look at the proximity to Palm Beach County. Look at South Florida. I mean, you got all kinds of boaters coming up in there, but where do they go? They haul ass straight to Abaco and bypass leaving their money in the resort. And only those that come over during the summer when they want to come on vacation, and they spend whatever nickels and dimes they spend, which we're totally grateful for. But the rest of the year, the place is literally a ghost town. And it shouldn't be like that. The winter season is supposed to be cranking with visitors.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's not. And I'm just going to put it. I'm telling you, it's not run well, and they know that. That's why they want to keep it depressed.
Yeah. Go ahead, George.
Now so that statement is just ridiculous. You know, that tells me he's on their side for some reason, because to make a statement like that is ridiculous. It's absurd. And by the way, I do own a hotel in Palm Beach. Okay, so anyway, but this place is just a joke.
Wow.
And the people that are getting hurt are the people in West End. That's the people that are getting hurt by this whole thing. We can talk about us. We can talk about the apartments. We can talk about everything else. But the people that live in West End are getting the real back end of the back of this thing, because they're the ones that could be employed. If the people come there, if we go there, look, we've done a lot for West End. We'd like to do a lot, West End. We'd like to do more. Why not? Life has been good to us, and why shouldn't it be good for everybody, especially if it's a place we're living in? But with the situation that's there now, who wants to go there? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Wow.
And as I've said, I won't let any of my friends invest in the Bahamas. No way. This is what I've.
Well, I can tell you this much. Give us a chance to make a change and then see what happens after the next general election. I'm sharing my screen now. I just thought it was interesting. You know, Kingsley Smith just had a wedding. He just got married, so congratulations on that. But some of these same investors, these homeowners, you know, donated to his campaign, and we believe that some of that money was used for his wedding. He had probably the biggest wedding in history of the Bahamas. When his declaration showed that he had no money, he was absolutely broke. And he had this wedding concert. You probably can't hear the music because I'm screen sharing. But you know, he had the biggest stars, Bahamian stars out there. You know, he had the place filled with people. And these politicians live their best life. And this is what I want people to understand. They live their bestest life while everything is too good for Bahamians. You know, they get to do everything that they want to do. They go in there broke, and they come out living their best life. This is his wedding reception. This is not a concert. This is his wedding reception, and that you're looking at on the screen. You know, and like George said, he had 20 rooms in Old Bahama Bay, comp by these people. So how is he now going to stand up against John McDonnell if John McDonnell gave him rooms in Old Bahama Bay for free? And so that's the reality. And so you're seeing this on the stage now. Again, this is not a concert. And this is Kingsley Smith, that's him and his wife there. I'm about to cut the cake. This is their reception where this whole thing took place. But he had them, you know, all the stars that you can think of. He had there, and a huge wedding with of the century. And I'm glad to see any Bahamian be able to celebrate like this. But I'm tired of it only being politicians able to celebrate like this. I'm tired of the politicians living their best life while Bahamians are suffering. I'm tired of that. And we need a government that's gonna be for the people this time. And that's what this is all about. I'm gonna open the phone line, so I'm gonna have to take you off of the line. George, is there anything you want to say before we go?
No, thank you very much. Hopefully there's a bright spot.
Yeah, there will be a bright spot. This is just a shot over the bow. But we're not finished with this, and we're gonna make sure that justice comes to that situation.
Thank you very much, and thank everybody else.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Keith, you can stay on with me. The lines are open. 803-5995. Make sure we're not on silent. 803-5995. We have about 20 minutes left. And that will give us our 2 hours. 803-5995. You can call us in. Let me make sure this is not on silent. 5995. You can WhatsApp call or you can call regular call. 803-5995. I'll put the number on there. What do you think about what you have heard? What do you think about what what is going down with this whole entire situation? How do you feel about this? We're having a tea party while we wait for persons to call in. We're having a tea party in Grand Bahama on the 28th. That's Saturday, the 28th of September. We're going to be having a tea party. I will be there. So if you want to come and you want to join me, come out and let's have a tea party. Let's celebrate. Let's go to the phone lines. Good afternoon. Good evening. You're live.
Good evening, Lincoln.
How you doing?
You know, I've always wondered why Freeport, and especially West End, the capital, that used to be probably the largest and best hotel in this country if you go back in the day.
Yep.
Why it could never succeed. And if these things are true, and investors for many years have had this kind of taste in their mouth, well, then you understand why Freeport and West End especially, because it has no control from the port, as I understand it, because we always blame the port that, you know, they have so much control and we can't fix anything. But then why do you come to me and ask me to vote for you? Because you have all the answers, and when you get in, I know you're going to tell me your hands are tied. But West End, no control from the Port Authority. But if these things are happening, imagine, the gentleman said, imagine what he tells the millionaires, because he's a millionaire to buy $1 million place.
Yeah.
Imagine what he tells other millionaires about our country and investing here.
Wow.
That is the most painful thing to hear. You know, when you visit France, you come back and tell us how great the Eiffel Tower was, right?
Yep.
But, and you know, you're hoping that the wealthy of the world aren't telling other wealthy people what scoundrels we are. But if that's what's been going on, no wonder we can't get a country to get what it needs to grow. I'm trying to be diplomatic.
Yeah.
Anyway, good show. It's very interesting to see what's been going on, eh?
Yeah, right under our noses. And look how the politics is all interweaving. Like we were there campaigning and doing stuff, and you didn't know that there were secret meetings where persons were funding Kingsley and them, you know, and helping them to get into power. But of course, these same people, you know, were screwed over by these same politicians, and it happens over and over and over again. And this story is like it never ever ends.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. Good show.
All right. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it. 803-5995 is the number. 803-5995. And again, the reason I called out Kingsley and Ginger on this is because Chester Cooper on this is because Chester Cooper is the Minister of Tourism. And this is happening in tourism. It's affecting our tourism. It's affecting our investors. And Ginger Moxey is in charge of Grand Bahama, the Ministry of Grand Bahama. They met with these people, as they testified. They met with both of them and others, and promises were made to them by Chester Cooper and others. They also wrote to the Prime Minister, and nothing. And I know they're going to say, "Oh, it was before the courts, et cetera." But the possible criminal side of it isn't before the courts. And so are we going to go and look for our VAT money now to make sure that is being paid? That's our money. It has nothing to do with what is before the court. And that the homeowners association part of it is not before the court. The management side of it is before the court. And so the homeowners association money is being paid to the U.S. That money is going straight out of this country. I mean, come on. That can't make sense to anybody. I mean, how do you feel, Keith?
You know, it's absolutely correct, because having lived in the United States for many years.
Keith, if you're talking, I can't hear you now. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay, having lived in the United States for many years and been educated there, I know the United States laws. And from what I have heard, because I didn't know that they were, that John and Sergio had these other companies and taken the money to the United States that actually belonged in the Bahamas. That could be some serious RICO stuff that they could get brought up on charges in the United States, because that's racketeering. That's what mafia people do. And I'm afraid for them, because if they get caught up by the FBI and they get brought up on these charges, man, they're not going to have much left. And so they're really in a bad position right now, because this whole thing is coming out. And for 20 years, I kept my mouth shut. I didn't say anything. I said, you know what? Sooner or later, what's it doing in the dark gonna come to the light, and it's coming out now, and it's really starting to shine. And I think some people after tomorrow, come Monday morning, will be making a couple of phone calls and wanting to know what the hell's going on around here. I'm a businessman.
Well, I want to know if these companies have paid their VAT.
Yes,
and I want to know.
Where's the VAT money? And you got to understand, Inland Revenue is going to have to check into this, because if they want their money, they got to go to John McDonald now and Sergio to go get the money. And plus, they got to do a full forensic audit. Now, you know how much money that costs? They got to go backwards to see how much money they've been taking out of the country, both VAT money and the investors' money. And once that's accumulated, it's going to be into probably the millions of dollars. I'm telling you, especially the sale of the real estate, because all of those transactions are done in the U.S. They're not done here in the Bahamas. So you got all
this money was going out for years.
Right. Right. And
years.
So because I know and I saw, and I'm a hotel man, and I know exactly what George was talking about. Listen, this property should be really doing well. And we should not even be having this discussion. It is sad to say, but man, we could do better than this.
Let me just take a phone call. Good evening, you're live.
Hey, good evening, my brother. How are you?
I am awesome. How are you?
Listen, man, I'm listening to this. Your program is a very informative thing here. Let me just say this. If all what you have said and what the two gentlemen have said, that means Chester Cooper and Ginger Cooper and Ginger Moxey have to know about this. I just hope that when they file their complaint in the United States,
it has already been filed.
Okay, with the FBI.
But they're now also going to file a complaint here in the Bahamas also. They're going to cover every ground. So that's what's going to be new.
I believe, I don't know this, but I believe that Chester Cooper and those made a deal with these individuals, and that's why they didn't pay what. And probably they might get kickback from that. I believe that. And I'll wait what will happen after all of this comes out. But you know what? This PLP government was born in corruption. And Chester Cooper, this man lied. He's smart in a sense of, him and my brother went to the same university, my oldest brother. And, but when it comes to dealing with, money is the power of money. See, corrupt money goes and finds corrupt people. And this government is known for corruption in this country. And it's so sad to know that billionaires and millionaires who connect with other millionaires and give us a bad name. But these guys don't care because they're Chester Cooper and Philip Davis. They don't care. All they want to do is empower themselves, and they don't care what happened to the country. They don't love this country. And so this is where we are now. But I believe, that I hope that what is filed, and I believe that all of them, Chester Cooper, Ginger Cooper, and even other politicians before them, their names might be caught up in this situation. But you know what? God will be done. And I hope they be exposed for the evil that they continue to do in this country. Nothing, my brother.
All right. Thank you, man. God bless you. All right. So, so we'll see what comes out of this. Everything that was said on the show, of course, is allegations. And we'll see what comes out of it. Your life.
Good afternoon, Mr. Green.
How you doing?
Man, listen, it's a pleasure, man. I would like to see the glory days again.
Yes.
Where I can come out of West End 4 a.m. on it. I mean, the place is a ghost town.
What?
I tell you, the gentleman right on the side of you, Mr. Cooper, he's an awesome man. I worked for him before, and when it comes to knowledge, we can't afford to lose him. We have to keep him.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He deals with all those stingrays and stuff. The first time I've ever seen a stingray eat out of a human being hand.
I heard that. They eat out of his hand.
Yeah, and when I sit back and I look at Jakarta, I remember the glory days back in 83, 84 when I used to go down there. You almost thought you was getting off in the United States of America.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I say all of that to say I can still see the glory days in West End again. If we use something like Mr. Cooper to enhance it and get it back together. Because a lot of people love West End, especially the marina. They used to stop in West End. Either they fuel up in West End, they come up to Port Lucaya, or they go to the Arbor Grand Key. Most people who usually come to West End, they had boats, like own restaurants, large restaurants and stuff, car dealership. I don't know if you remember during Sunday morning. He had a boat called Sunday Money. He used to race the car. He used to come down there. We need to bring it back, Lincoln.
Yes.
Thanks again.
All right. Thank you. Well, these were plans that we had for West Grand Bahama, but that wasn't to be. And so we keep moving. All right. And so 803-5995 is the number. We got 8 more minutes. 803-5995 is the number. So just to remind you, every Friday on Dove 103.7 changes here as a talk show. And also this on the 28th of September, I'm going to be in Grand Bahama on the 28th of September for our second annual tea party. The first one was a smashing success. We came out. The food was fabulous. And the tea was fabulous, even though I don't really drink tea. Hot chocolate for me. But the tea was fabulous. And it's going to be at Tano Beach. That's our tea party. So come to Tano Beach. I'm going to be there if you want to meet me. Talk. All right. Let's go to the phone lines. Good evening. You're live.
Good evening. Good night, Lincoln.
Yes, go ahead.
What's up?
Right here, man. Right here, discuss what's happening in this country.
Well, I tell you, Lincoln, it seems as though corruption can't done in this Bahamas, and it's so deep that there's tension. It's causing people to get upset and angry about what's going on in this country.
Yeah.
And here and now, but let me say this, from the years, 2.5 years, because I was taking note of the things that come into the forefront going in Parliament. Every other week, every other month, something was coming out on them. It's like nothing good in that group of people that making any sense to this country. Every time you hear nothing good, you're hearing nothing good. All you hear is corruption coming to the forefront from out of Parliament. They are dirty, they are rotten, and we need another jail.
Yeah.
And a big jail too. We're not gonna put them in no new jail. We're gonna take the ones in the rotten, the mess up to now. We can put them in the new jail and put the politicians in the old jail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they deserve to get a taste. Me and you, or the persons out there on the streets, they doing little thing there. They go into jail. But yet these in Parliament, they robbing and stealing day in and day out, and ain't not a one of them spending time in jail.
Wow.
But that need to happen. That need to come to fruition in this country, whereby these politicians get lost in jail
and throw away the key. Don't need no more. That's how I feel about them. And every one of them, most every one of them. Because I can't see in Parliament, you got Vaughn Miller, preacher, and many others in there, preachers. And this is going on. I don't know what's going on in our country, man, because even our preachers, I'm getting, I'm tempted in corruption.
Yeah.
Very, very sad in this country.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
And Lincoln, that need to be stopped. And you'll continue to expose this corruption. I like it. I want to see the FBI on this thing, man. I want to see the FBI coming in and dealing with this to the core, man, and really taking them out. I want to see them gone.
Wow.
Right? I want to see them gone. And you know me, Lincoln, I don't pull no punches.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you all take it easy, man.
Thanks for your call, man. 803-5995, 803-5995. Again, these guys that we're talking about, they funded the election campaign of Kingsley Smith. Kingsley Smith declared that he had $0. He didn't even have a bank account. And he had the wedding of the century. And these are things we have to pay attention to. They are now talking about campaign finance reform in our country. And you're hearing the Prime Minister say that the public purse would have to be used. That is absolute nonsense. Campaign finance reform is not about the public purse being used. It's about accountability. You need to declare where you get your money from. If someone gives you money, they have to declare it. And if you receive money, you have to declare it. That's what it is, not just about the public purse financing it. That's just one part of it. Some countries don't do that. Some do. In America, if you take money from the public, you have to only use public funds. You can't use any private funds. But if you go private, you can't take from the public. So that's how it works. All right. So again, I just showed you the wedding celebration of Kingsley Smith. These guys gave him money. He also, he was playing two sides of the field, it appears, because he was getting hotel rooms from these guys, from John McDonnell, etc., and he was getting money from the other guys, and so he was selling to the Cowboys and the Indians, or taking from the Cowboys and the Indians, and that's, I guess, how politics works. But that's not the kind of politics I'm interested in. You have to stand for something. And you have to stand for what is right. You can't sell to both sides. All right. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Mr. Keith, I want to thank you for tuning in here. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm not physically meeting you yet.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not physically met you yet.
Right.
But it's a pleasure. I'm hearing only good things about you, that you're doing a wonderful work there. I want to thank those foreigners, foreign investors, foreign residents who have been helping you, a Bahamian son in this country, to help you to be able to exist and to do what you do. Your marine eco tours. I want to thank them for looking out for you as a Bahamian. I want you to know that the COI will look out for all Bahamians. We will not have to beg government to do anything. And we will be autonomous. Each of our communities will have our own budget, and we will be able to do the things that benefits our community. That's the change that is coming. And so for the Bahamian public, I know that you know, you had your full of hearing about corruption from these government officials, and you want to hear the vision that is coming very soon. Stay tuned. Of course, we push our vision a week, but we are going to push our vision forward to you. We've put forward a few days ago our first 19 candidates. We are proud of them, and we're looking forward to seeing all of them through to the end. But we are proud of them. That's 19 of them, and there are more to come. Our campaign committee is going to be vetting more candidates as we go on, and so we'll be presenting more candidates in short order. Mr. Keith, do you have any final words?
I want to thank you so much for inviting me to come on to your show. I normally don't put my face out there like this, but this situation is so drastic and so important to be brought to the surface now. Timing is right. This is the right time to do it. I think the world of you now. I do look forward to meeting you at some point in the future, and I appreciate all the people out there who know who I am and know what I stand for. I'm a man of integrity, and that's really what this country should be run under: integrity and honesty. But unfortunately, that's what's missing in today's society. But for you, you did a great job. This was one for the records. This is one for history.
Thank you,
for you to have done this to the people of West End, to be exposed these things that are going on that's hurting us. And we should not live like this, man. There is no reason in God's earth the West End people have to live like this. It's just beyond my comprehension. But thank you again for inviting me. And if you want me to come back and talk another segment or talk about economic development opportunities,
I want to know more about what you're doing.
Yeah, I got ideas. I got ways, man. We can do some fantastic things in this country, but I don't put it out there because no one seems to want to listen to my creative thoughts. I figure, hey, you don't want to hear? Fine, I'll keep it to myself. So it is what it is. But we'll get there. We're gonna talk some more.
Definitely, man. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you being here. And I'll be in Grand Bahama in a matter of days, and so for our tea party, and so looking forward to meet you at that time.
Yeah. I'll come out and say hello.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Keith Cooper. He is doing a great job down there in West Grand Bahama. And so this was just a shot over the bow. There's much more that we've exposed. We only had 2 hours today. We have so much documents and so much things that we've been discovering, so much things that we have dug up about what's going on. Let me just take this last call. Good evening, you're live.
Good evening, my president. Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, Mr. Bing, it makes me want to cry.
Wow.
It's like you know something is wrong, but you like you're the only one who knows something is wrong. Like Mr. Keith, I kept to myself because I don't condone foolishness. I cannot go about celebrating knowing I know something is wrong, but I cannot put a hand on it. And here it is now. You came with all this information tonight. It makes me want to cry. When that game situation came into Grand Bahama, I was not pleased with that.
Wow.
But to me, it felt like a lot of... so it felt like a lot of underhanded work.
Yeah.
So I am so happy tonight that you are bringing forth all of this situation to light so that we as Grand Bahamians can know what's happening with us.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, and I thank you. I thank you for the exposure and for the information. God bless you, my president. God bless you.
God bless you too. Well, we'll see what the Prime Minister does. We haven't heard anything from him about these serious matters, about these police killings, et cetera, et cetera. We haven't heard anything about Michael Johnson and BJ for a while. I think they're hoping that we just stop talking about it, and maybe the media got instructions to stop talking about it. We don't know. But we're going to keep these things in the forefront for the Bahamian people because this is important to all of us. The democracy of this country, and it's like every week we're hearing about more and more corruption, and so we're gonna keep fighting, and we're gonna keep putting our vision out. I am going to start having special shows where I'm going to be introducing you to all of our candidates one by one, and so we want you to tune in for them. I'm going to have special shows during the week just for that purpose, and so just watch the Facebook page to see who we'll be talking to first. And next, so we'll probably talk to two of them at a time, one for the first hour, one for the second hour, so we can start introducing these candidates to you. All right, so definitely we're going to keep doing this, and we are going to keep checks on this FBI situation with what's going on at Old Bahama Bay and the IRS investigation into it. And of course, a complaint is going going to be made to our local police, and we're going to see what happens. There's billions of dollars of net worth in Old Bahama Bay. And Kingsley knows that firsthand because they helped him to get there. And now he decided to screw these same people. Well, we'll see what happens in the end. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. We're sorry for tuning in so late today, but we'll make it up to you. All right. So stay tuned for our candidates, and God bless you. We love you, and we do this for you. So see you next time. Okay, we are live.
I be honest with you, every morning I wake up ready to throw the towel in, but I read some scripture and it says don't give up. So the good Lord's keeping me there for a fight for some reason.
Maybe you guys should fund another party to get rid of the corruption.
You know what? That's very well an option. So
definitely.
We need change.
Change is here. Definitely.
I like that.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Lincoln, for helping out for everything you can, and you're gonna have our support as well.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. Yeah.
In terms of the media, has the media been helpful to you guys?
We tried to keep everything on the download during the trial, but when the trial, or not the trial, the litigation, but when the litigation started being non-productive, I went to a couple of different media outlets trying to get the story published and explain and showed them the documents from the courts and whatnot where we'd won the injunction, and nobody wanted to take it. We wanted to take the story.
Wow.
It seems like the whole organization managing Old Bahama Bay has pretty much been shielded and bulletproof. So,
my God, you feel about the Bahamas?
What's that?
How does that make you feel about the Bahamas?
I still love my people, but I've been, like I said, I've been there since the late '80s, early '90s, and the last 5 years I have been hell, and just trying to stop the corruption, and it's just like I said, every morning I wake up ready to throw the towel in, but the truth's going to set us free one day. So
because politicians are involved, we have to make sure that no skullduggery is being done. They collected financing from you guys for the elections, and now they've thrown you absolutely in the garbage.
Yep.
And that's how you feel, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's how the Bahamian people feel. We vote for them every election, and then they throw us in the garbage.
Empty promises.
5 years later. Yeah, empty promises. And so, wow. And I would say that Kingsley did the same thing, to the people of West End. He sold them a dream, and now they can't find him. Have you guys been able to speak to Kingsley about this?
We tried to get a hold of Kingsley. He kind of became very evasive after the courts and court's decision. I have not been able to. I mean, I actually. He basically, last time I did talk to him, he basically told me it was in the court's hand and there's nothing he can do to help out.
Nonsense. All right. Well, anyway, I'll do something to help. All right. Okay. So you guys have some powers, and we have to make sure that nothing happening in West End and Grand Bahama. We have to make sure that your homeowners association is being collected properly and being used for what you guys what your money is supposed to be used for, and so we're gonna get on that. All right.
All right.
Anything else you wanna say to the Bahamian people, to the officials, and to McDonald?
Well, I would I would like to say thank you for giving me the hospitality in West End and all of the Bahamas for the last 40 years that I've been visiting and calling it my second home. We are there to help make things better, and all we want is a fair and equal operation and representation. And if we can all work together, then like I said, the truth's going to set us all free. So we have to bring this corruption to an end.
Wow. But all I gotta say to you is, change ain't coming, change is here. You literally said that you bought this condo 6 years ago, and only the first time you went, you were able to enjoy your condo, and after that, you were not able to have access to your condo?
I had trouble booking both units for vacation time and with friends and family. That is correct, because they were already booked.
Wow. And so the big question is, they book your condos and they rent them out. And so you're supposed to get dividends from that. You're supposed to get a share of the profits. Did you ever get a share of the profits?
Not one penny.
What?
And as I said, not one penny. And as I said before, not only are we not getting a share of the profit, we are getting assessed every month for an assessment, and we have no idea where and what John is spending the money on. We have no idea. There are no competitive bids that anybody knows about. We don't know what work is being done or not done, and it just smells fishy all the way.
And I just want to make sure I'm clear. When you say that you get assessed every month, that means you have to pay a home owners association fee every month?
Yes.
And so I've heard that some people are paying up to $1,200.
Yes.
Per month.
I have 2 units per month. I have 2 units, and they're both, I think one's 900, one's 1,000, in that range. Yes.
Wow. That's like a rental. Like, it's like you're renting them. That's crazy. And so
I don't know where all that money is going. There are rumors that that money is being spent on non-association things like electricity for the marina. But we don't know, because there are no accountings, and these are only rumors. And we can't get an accounting, even though we petition the court system. There's something not right about this. After 3 years asking for what every other condominium owner should automatically receive, we are not getting response.
wow, so you are literally paying about $24,000 a year just in homeowners association fees, and plus you're supposed to be getting dividends from each of your units as they're rented out to tourists, and you're getting nothing.
We're getting nothing, and we're being assessed, every homeowner, and I stop paying the assessments until I get an accounting. So I owe several years worth of assessments now, but I'm fighting this in court to get that accounting and seeing where the money's going.
Well, I've seen court documents, and there's an injunction that says that you and others who sued cannot be forced to pay any of the homeowners association fees until you get in a proper accounting. I also see where you're not supposed to be restricted access to your condominiums. and that an accounting is supposed to be given, and a lot of things supposed to be done. They're not supposed to hinder your electricity, etc. And so there was an injunction that was in your favor, in the favor of you and other owners. And so why hasn't that injunction been enforced?
Lincoln, that is the $64,000 question. John is immune to repercussion, and he does what he wishes.
Wow.
There's nobody enforcing this because he's running it and is marching to his own beat, and he's lawyered up.
Wow.
As they say.
Well, I don't think he's lawyered up. I think he politicianed up, and he seems to have some influence that regular person shouldn't have. I don't know how he's getting that influence, but we are going to get to the